Well, what an honor it is to be here. In fact, I still can't believe I'm actually here. I can assure you that there are several of my high school teachers and even a few college professors who also cannot believe that I'm here. I would like to thank Chancellor Richardson and all the faculty and staff for this incredible honor. I applaud their dedication that made it possible for you to be sitting where you are today, and I think you should applaud them too. I would like to share with you 6 lessons I have learned so far in my journey. I tried to get to 10, but I like to think that I am too young to know that much. But first, I want to read you a little excerpt from a Newsweek editorial that I think is important for you all to hear. This younger generation was indulged with every toy, game, and electronic device available. We have a generation whose every need has been catered to since birth. Now, when you finally face adulthood, you expect the gift-giving to continue. This generation decries the lack of entry-level professional positions in the marketplace. It's time they move out of their parents' house, start working, and for heaven's sake, stop whining. Remember, this is the generation whose biggest achievement to date is something called grunge rock. Wait a minute, grunge rock. I think I have the wrong speech. When was this even written? All right, here we go. This editorial was written in 1993 about Generation X, my generation. How can that possibly be? It sure does sound like the exact same complaints we hear about today's graduates. And herein lies one of the first lessons I have learned. Get ready for negativity and get ready to ignore it. Negativity is pervasive in our society, especially in this day and age of social media where everybody can shout out their opinion from their digital platform of choice. And have you ever noticed that those opinions are too often negative? While there are inspirational examples of how a more connected world can change it, like the Arab Spring and the #MeToo movement, we are living in a time when online trolls and cyberbullying seem to take up all the air in the room. The best thing I can tell you is to look forward and look past negativity, for it is nothing more than fear. You will be told no more than you will be told yes. You'll be told you can't do something more than you will be told you can. You'll be told no because of your age, your ethnicity, your gender. You will be told no because you don't have a certain degree or because you have too many degrees. There are a million reasons you'll be told no, but perhaps most importantly, you will tell yourself no before anyone else does. Studies have shown that we produce up to 50,000 thoughts a day. I have a lot fewer, but that's the average. More than half of those thoughts are repetitive and 70 to 80% are negative. This translates into 40,000 negative thoughts a day. But the good news is our brains can be trained to be more positive, and just like any habit, it simply takes time and focus, so I strongly encourage you to be meaningful of negativity in your own thoughts and when others tell you no. When you block out that no in your head, it's amazing what you can do. Before I came here to ArtsQuest, I was the manager of community relations and philanthropy for a very large Fortune 250 company. I was in charge of the company's philanthropy. I traveled the US and Canada. I was funding nonprofits and other organizations and working with government officials. While I liked it, I wasn't passionate about it. So I was offered a job here, and I accepted it at ArtsQuest. The day I handed in my resignation, I had a serious bout of negativity. I told a colleague of mine that I had accepted a new job, one I had no experience with, no idea how I was going to do it, no idea how to actually raise money when, after all, I'd been giving away the money for 5 years. Here I was going from a global company to a small nonprofit. What if I failed? No, I couldn't possibly do this. My colleague patiently listened to me, and when there was a pause, she said, "Are you done?" I looked at her with a puzzled expression. She reached into her pocket, she took out a $1 bill and gave it to me and said, "There, now you've raised money. What's your excuse now?" Like a light switch, I went from what could go wrong to dreaming about what could be. To this day, I have that dollar framed and hanging in my office, and whenever I hear no or why an idea will never happen, I look at that dollar and I think of the power of positivity. The second thing I want to share with you, the second lesson, is a really important one. Success comes from getting up one more time than you fall down. This is actually one of the first lessons we all learn, and it's also one of the first lessons we forget. Think about babies for a minute. Have you ever seen a baby learn to walk? You know what they do? they fall down a lot. But we never focus on those falls, and neither do they. They just keep getting up until one day they don't fall down anymore. Psychologists have a word for this, and it's called grit. I know that doesn't sound very academic, but there is a science behind it. According to psychologist Angela Duckworth, talent is not the sole indicator that determines success. It's not SAT scores, it's not the IQ scores, it's not even a degree from a top-ranking school like Penn State. Rather, the secret seems to be a special blend of persistence and passion that she calls grit. Being gritty is the ability to persevere in the face of difficulties, obstacles, and failures. Now, don't hear this as education is irrelevant. Not at all. Education gives you skills like any training. Grit just means that it's okay if you aren't the smartest person in the room or the smartest person in the job. It means the effort and the passion you expend matters more. As Albert Einstein famously said, "It's not that I'm so smart, I just stay with problems longer." The third thing I have learned is everything you do today determines the kind of leader you will be tomorrow. And you will be a leader. You may lead a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, you may lead a neighborhood watch, or you may lead a project team for a few weeks or months at a job, but you will lead. So take the time now to find those leaders you admire, and more importantly, those you don't, and learn from them. You don't become a leader all of a sudden. It starts now, today, with everything you do. Leadership does not come with title. You aren't a leader because of the office you sit in. I have seen many people with titles never display leadership. There is a favorite HR phrase that people don't leave companies, they leave people. So spend every time working on the kind of leader you are, because that will determine the type of leader you will be. As author M.D. Arnold said, a good leader leads the people from above them. A great leader leads the people from within them. The fourth thing that I want to share with you is something that came from a plaque that sat on my father's desk every day of his career. There is no telling how far you can go if you don't care who gets the credit. In other words, be humble. When you have success, give away the credit and take the blame. Understand that every accomplishment you will enjoy will partly be because of other people helped make it so. You may know these people, and in some situations, you will never know them. Think of your graduation today. Yes, you all did the work, but there were professors and advisors and friends and family who supported you every step of the way. There were donors who provided the funds for the classrooms that you sat in. There were generations of students before you who paved the road you walked on to get here, and you are doing the same for the generations behind you. I've been fortunate to have both men and women open doors for me, make a seat at the table for me, and when neither one of those existed, they told me to force my way in. When I bought my house many years ago, it was on a very modest street. It is still a very modest street. During the first snowstorm living there, I woke up at 5 a.m. to hear the sound of scraping on my driveway. As I looked out my window, I saw someone I didn't know plowing my driveway. I was really relieved they were plowing my driveway, but I didn't know who they were. Later, I found out the person who had plowed my driveway was actually a neighbor who happened to be a multimillionaire living on my street. I had no idea he was my neighbor, and I certainly had no idea that he knew I had moved in. When I saw him next to thank him, he said, "Don't thank me, kid. I just didn't want you to have an excuse to be late for work. Now go do something for someone else." Sir Isaac Newton, the mathematician, astronomer, theologian, author, and physicist, summed this lesson up best. If I have seen a little further than other men, it is because I have stood on the shoulder of giants. The fifth lesson I want to share with you is go find your tribe. Go find those people who love you for who you are and aren't afraid to tell you when you're wrong. And be sure you love them back fiercely. Even if it's that friend that posts the 40 memes a day and pictures of their half-eaten dinner. And don't fall for the work-life myth. There is no such thing. There is no way to balance both, as in today's world, they are deeply intertwined. You will spend more time with people you work with than your family, so be sure you find a place you are passionate about and with people you like, and then drink in every second no matter where you are. I have made deep friendships at work and even stronger ones outside of it. A friend once told me that a mark of a good life is to have the kind of friends that you will make hundreds of stories with, but only 3 you can tell in public. Apparently, I still have a ways to go because I don't have one I can share with you right now. Speaking of those work friends, you are sitting in the room of one of them for us here at ArtsQuest, I want to point out. The Yingling family was one of the first investors in this crazy vision that became SteelStacks, even after so many people told us no. No matter how many times we fell down, they helped us get back up. And their humble leadership in supporting this little nonprofit grow into the 9th largest arts and cultural one in Pennsylvania has made them part of our tribe. So, you have a little surprise under your chair. If you would all look under your chair. I'm just kidding. Are you kidding? I'm not going to put a beer under your chair. We're a nonprofit. I can't give away that much alcohol. I just wanted to see if you're listening. The 6th and final lesson I've learned is always be brief. So I'll leave it at that. Congratulations again, graduates. Go forth and make your mark on this great big world. We can't wait to see what you do. And speaking of we, don't leave me alone here. We are. Congratulations.